What's up, y'all? I I'm not gonna be able to hear any of your reactions right now. Um but it's all good. We're gonna have a little time to like chop it up after. I sound so much better on this mic though, right? Let's see, I could kinda see you. I can see Angel over there. Angel, give me a thumbs up. Sound good? Alright, so welcome to Beatbox Studio. Um so everybody has a story, and mine, well, all of our stories start way before we even come into the picture. My story starts back in the Cape Verde Islands. I'm first generation Cape Verdean American. The first of the batch that's born here in the United States. Both of my parents were born in Cape Verde. Come from like a long line of musicians. My dad was a singer. My grandfather was a singer. My sister's a singer and a rapper. My uncle's a drummer. My cousin plays keys. My other cousin's a DJ. Music kind of like part of our family. But I never really noticed it until I was older. My grandfather was a merchant marine. He would spend 6 months out in the sea and then 6 months back home, but he was also a hustler. He was a welder by trade, and I don't know, he was just skillful, man. He was like this was when he was stationed somewhere in West Africa. It was post some like Revolutionary War, and there were like just scrap metal everywhere. And he would take scrap metal, him and his boy, who was also a welder, and they would like make things that were needed to sell. At the time where they were, there was no like running water inside, like in the local area where they were stationed. So people would go out and have to like wash up outside, and a lot of people were getting sick. So they made like these wash basins. So it's kind of like if you think of like a sink, and then like a little plug that the water would drain, so people could actually like wash up inside. It was like a bucket where the drainage would go, and they were selling them things, and they were making the equivalent of 1 week's pay with the sale of 1.5 of those basins that they were making from free scrap metal. He was sending all that money back to Cape Verde. And my grandmother was a hustler too. So by the time that my grandfather went back from that 6 month stay, my grandmother had already built another property in the back. Long to the short, they ended up selling all of that. And my grandfather, when he first came to the States, brought all of his kids. His oldest daughter, my Aunt Gia, had a husband, 3 kids already. He brought all of them, my mother, my Aunt Tudinga, my Aunt Funfa, my Uncle Jack, my Uncle Tino, my Uncle Bit. And, you know, they were able to, like, literally bring the whole family over to the States. And he had bought a house, and you know how it is. Everybody lived in that house. And shortly after that, when my mother came, my father found out that my mother was leaving, so he came chasing after her, and he came as a stowaway. He was a stowaway on a boat. The man had like, I don't know, not even $1,000 on him, and they found him and his boy. Thankfully, that they had money, so they were able to pay for their passage at that time. But he touched down in the States with nothing. But I want to tell a little bit of their story, so you could kind of like understand mine a little bit better. I'm gonna do this piece. It's a poem that I wrote about my grandfather. If character and perseverance equate to the measure of a man, and if dignity and unconditional love could be felt with the shake of a hand, and if eyes could tell the stories of 93 years of plans, then the sacrifices he made would never fade like grains of sand, because he had ambition. He was more than just a bearer of children and a welder of precision. He was more than a craftsman with passion who built homes overlooking deep waters. He traveled as a man of the sea, where the ocean was a mirror of rhythm, that provided the inspiration for him to become a sweet serenading street musician, drawing crowds of wealth and misfortune, providing love through music in exchange for applause, a few shots of grog and a meal that was fit for a king. He would sing. He would sing on the moonlit windows for she, hidden behind the shadows of overprotective sisters, with hopes that his words would entice his soon-to-be queen. He would sing. As he conquered the unforgiving waters to beautiful places, remembering hardships and using each as motivation, he built windows of opportunity and remained under a strict discipline for them because he had ambition. His mother he only remembered through letters and pictures and tears. And for too many years he only saw her in dreams because she was in America. She was the American dream. A dream that he pursued by any means, while his world was torn between the length of the sea, his children and queen, and the place they should be. So he did what the world said that he couldn't do. He dreamed, and he made his dream come true. This is just one of the stories I knew. Over the years, he told me a few. We played music and laughed while I cut his hair in the kitchen. And I know it's so soon, but I already miss him. He's the reason I pride myself on being a good father. He's the reason I work hard to be a musician. I hope that he still has some stories to tell when I see him again, because I can't wait to listen. My grandfather, Pai, he was a special dude, man. Real calm, nothing ever like rattled him. He was just always had like that kind of like a presence like a lion. Like, he was important, but he wouldn't have to like roar, for you to know that he was important. But he was one of my two pillars growing up. Someone that I was kind of aspired to be like, but I just kind of lacked the swag and the suits. But I felt real fortunate that he and I grew a bond to where he shared a lot of stories with me that he didn't even tell his own children. So I was able to, after he passed, I was able to tell a lot of the stories that he told me to his own kids. And I don't know why he entrusted me with the stories, but he told me a lot of rough times of him growing up without his mother. His mom was in America. He didn't see her for 40 years until he finally went over there with all of his kids. And just, some of the struggles he had growing up, extreme poverty, had to learn how to hustle. Which kind of brings me to my father, who was the ultimate hustler. My father only has a fourth grade education, but he was just always good with money. His older brother owned like a store, and my father worked for his brother in the store, and he was really charismatic, and people would just gravitate towards him. He was like a slick talker, musician. He was like, he was just that dude. So as he got older within the store, everybody assumed that the store was his, but it was his brother's. He was just making his brother a lot of money, because it was like a hub for like musicians, and people would come, and it was the spot. And he never told me that story, but other people told me that story after he passed, which kind of reminds me of like the situation with my grandfather not telling his kids. So I try my best to kind of break that cycle by like not just telling my kids, but trying my best to include them in some of the things that I do. Especially like the things that I'm passionate about. So my father lands in the States with nothing, chasing after love. And the sacrifices that we make, man, for love. But I feel real fortunate to have been raised by my parents. They had a lot of rough times, but they were, I know that they loved each other tremendously, and instilled a lot of things in me that I rebelled against. one thing specifically that I learned from watching them uh, is conveyed through this poem called Short Glass, Tall Shot. That's something that is experienced by Cape Verdean men. Hold on. My instincts tell me to sip slowly. I guess I get that from the men of my family. Every time they have a smile on their face, it's usually accompanied by a short glass carrying a tall shot of something golden brown that makes them hold their breath briefly after a sip. So I sip slowly through two thin black straws and think, what is it about the drink that makes men content even if it's only for brief moments? In between sips and jokes and tales of work and stress and wives and kids and stress and wives and kids and stress and wives and kids and stress. Could the same effect be caused with water? See, the golden brown is a way of inflicting pain on the self. Nights of shots and laughs are always followed by mornings of headaches and hangovers. Pain. The men in my family have always had it rough. Dead-end jobs, bills, and wives, and kids, and stress. The drink is just a fun way to inflict some pain on the self, as if to say to the world, no matter how bad you may try to hurt me, you will never get the satisfaction of treating me worse than I treat myself. Alcohol. I was, 14. You could kill that right. Yeah. I was 14 years old when I first got drunk, like bad, like drunk, like not able to like hold myself up, like bad. And I didn't know, you know what I'm saying, how much like influence that my family was having on me. But it was a party in my yard every weekend, like every single weekend. It was like a concert. It was like his boys would come over with their guitars and they were playing music, and there was like drinks and just non-stop drinks. And it wasn't like I had permission, you know what I mean? But everything was accessible to me, so I just automatically thought it was normal. And because I had access, it made me even cooler to my friends. So I was like, yeah, I could snatch a bottle quick, easy. They won't even realize what happened. Just fill it back up with a little bit of water. You know what I mean? And, but it was part of, like, you know what I'm saying, a vicious cycle. You know what I'm saying? It made my youth a little bit harder. It's experimenting and rebelling, you know what I'm saying? Whatever anybody said that I shouldn't do and I couldn't do, I was like, watch me, you know? And but it was part of our culture. And as I got older, I started realizing, you know, how toxic it is. And, you know what I'm saying, and traveling to Cape Verde and watching, like, you know, young kids, you know, like drinking and not having access to resources, is leading down a real dangerous road. And same thing here. So I'm glad I was able to like kind of like bear witness to that as I got older, and you know, change my ways and drink a little bit more responsibly as an adult, and kind of like teach my kids a different normal. And I'm real fortunate to see that currently in Cape Verde, there's a lot of movements where things were normalized, where it was, you know, young people drinking and the festivals, it was normalized. And I feel like that's kind of like making a change now, and folks are starting to, like, you know, discourage that more, and kind of move in solidarity to have more social change in regards to like that. But it was, you know, growing up, it was just a part of my culture and in my household. That part I liked. I loved. I chased after it, right? And everything else I didn't. I won't say that I didn't love it. I just didn't accept it. I didn't embrace it. I wanted to be seen as an American. I just wanted to be, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to be like accepted as an American. I was like embarrassed by my parents. If I would get in trouble, and you know what I'm saying, I was like embarrassed by like their accent, like just foolishness. I didn't really like enjoy the music. I was like a hip hop head. I just wanted to like listen to to the boom bap, and I just didn't appreciate it like this stuff right here. You know what I'm saying? Like this in the house all day long. I mean, I'm like, oh, get my Walkman, throw on my headphones, like I'm listening to like, you know what I mean, Public Enemy. I'm like, oh man, Dad, please, I'm not trying to listen to this, man. It was like all day. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh man, I just wanted to make hip hop, and I kind of like dove into my hip hop. I like completely rebelled against Cape Verdean culture. I was like, nah, I don't want to eat except for the food. Food's crazy. Food's incredible. You know what I'm saying? And then I made a unique discovery. I was like finding it hard to find like a unique sound, and I took some of that stuff and started passing it on to my friends who were like producers. And I was just like, yo, you think we could like flip an old Cape Verdean sample and then turn it into like some hip hop? And the first record that I feel that I was able to tell my story about being raised and accepting Cape Verdean culture into my world, it had to come through the music. It had to come by me including it in the thing I was creating. And I wrote this song called Cape Verdean in America, and I'm gonna perform it for you right now. Can you turn the beat up a little bit? Check it. Hey, light-skinned African blood, born in America, land of the slave with a raft and a flood, where they quick to leave your ass in a dub with no water to drink and no grub, so we trapped in the mud. Growing up, pockets was broke, kicks was trash. If I couldn't cut good, I just kicked some ass. 14 trying to twist the grass, 15 can't remember, 16 trying to get some cash, 17 on a different path, 18 up in college trying to scoop every girl that asks, what's a Cape Verdean? It's a man in the myth that went from ship to plane to tell you this, yo. Do you know what it's like to be a Cape Verdean in America? You gotta know how to fight. That's right. Cause the world's so cold in America, and they cut off your heat and lights. If you can't pay your bills in America, and you know that ain't right. No, no, no. Yo, growing up in the Tucket, had to roll with a team. Down to fight anybody, try to call you a green. All guts, no glory when you young on the scene. When my cousin learned English, his swag was mean. USA's like a different world, cause my cousin couldn't speak no English, still get all the girls. Flavor is flavor, CV got all that. TVs, DVDs, CDs got all that. America ain't what it seemed to be. You lose soul like fingers in machinery, or sweet floors up in Newport Creamery. And everybody's mama made jewelry, and Monet and laid off like it's still okay. No way we get paid, but man, we like slaves. Still trying to get good grades and make the fam prouder. And we eat ketchup and our clam chowder. Yeah. How it feels to be a Cape Verdean in America. You don't know how it feels to have all of the pretty girls laugh at ya, cause you ain't had the freshest gear. All the kids got jokes in America, and we act like we just don't care. No, no, no. This next verse is dedicated to all those that came with nothing, on a slave ship smiling, trying to make it. This is for my CVs we see on the TV that making sweet music seem so easy. And this is for Milka Cabral, who taught us all how to love. Sometimes we gotta throw on gloves, and we still need them. We still fighting for freedom, so we still teach the kids life, writing and reading. For all my little kids from the states to the islands that can't read, but they can cook, clean dishes and iron. All my little criolingas, future stars and singers. You don't need English for you to be distinguished. And all my little roughneck youngins at K-Bird with enough raps, walking down the road to success. And all my deportees, I spit it for y'all. I know they really think we better cause we coming from America, but they don't know what it's like to be a K-Verdian in America. And you can't afford brand new Nikes, but them Chinese shoes just right for us. And we still party every night. K-Verdians in America, and everything's gonna be alright. Somebody say it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything's gonna be alright. Somebody say it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything's gonna be alright. Somebody say it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything's gonna be alright. Somebody say it. Alright, y'all singing with me back there? Alright, I can see y'all over there in the corner on the other screen. I get some snaps. Y'all with me? Yeah, okay. I hope I ain't boring some of y'all. Good? Alright, cool. So that was my aha moment. You know what I mean? Like that, like creating that song and like taking a piece of my culture and fusing it with the culture that like I love, with my hip hop culture that's always embraced me and has always fed me, has always like made me feel at my best. It like gave me a new appreciation for Cape Verde. And then to see the reception that I got by like the people and a lot of folks like myself who were like, you know, first generation, second generation, third generation Cape Verdean Americans, and how they related and responded to that, like it just opened up my eyes and opened up a whole new world and whole new territory for me to explore. It also provided an opportunity for me to like start asking more, start thinking about connecting with Cape Verde a little bit more. And so my initial rebellion, my protest against Cape Verde ultimately ended up shedding light and providing endless opportunities for me to resurrect a quickly dying hip-hop career here in the States. It allowed me to just be different and just stand out from everybody else that was around me in my immediate circle. And then it allowed me an opportunity to connect to a whole different fan base. Quickly after that, I started like exploring, and I was like, yo, I need to like do some shows with like some Cape Verde. I need to make music with more Cape Verdean artists. I need to do some shows. I did, and then I was like, yo, I had my heart set on performing in Cape Verde. And my you know, my family was just like, oh, word, man, you could do it. You just need like some more. So I started like exploring a little bit more with sounds. This song right here is called Sebin, which was made famous by an artist named Grace Evra, who's like still like a national treasure in Cape Verde. And I remixed it. And Sebin means like it's good, but it's better than good. It's like so good. You know what I mean? It's Sebin. It's like it's better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do one verse for this, just so y'all could catch a vibe and then tell you a story, right? Yo, I remember playing Uril, going to get a beer from the fridge for Udil. Who cares how you feel? We partying over here. Shots of glow chase with a cold beer. You can smell Kachupa in the air and it's so good. I dedicate this to my whole hood, thousands of miles away. In Rhode Island, rep the culture we from, we say. I live in Island and I ain't never been there yet, but my heart holds. And I rep till death do us part. My pops, he was smart, taught us about the food and the land, the music and the art. And he spent a lot of time taking shots, singing monas in canteen. He said it felt Sab said B, and I imagine how he felt when he saw me rapping live on TV, wearing a shirt that said CV, repping the Carvalho name, and I made it look easy. Yeah. So this song, right, allowed me to like really own it. And I was just like, yo, I felt with this, I felt like Cape Verde was like becoming mine. Like I was like, I didn't feel like a stranger to it. I felt like a pull, like it was like a gravitational pull. Like I couldn't help but to run towards Cape Verde. And this song right here allowed my father to go from get a real job to, oh, you're making music. You know, it went from, you know, oh, that rap crap to like, oh, now this I like, cha. This is real music. And that meant everything to me, you know. To feel accepted, and it led to a lot of opportunities, you know. Shortly after this, I performed. I was invited to perform on BET on 106 in Park. I won a competition, and that was in 2012. I won a Wild Out Wednesday competition. I was invited to compete against other winners, and I won that too. A lot in due to the fan base in Cape Verde that was like watching and voting for me from Cape Verde, which was kind of crazy. And then I had an opportunity to perform in Cape Verde for the first time. I was able to bring my whole band. We performed at a huge festival, thousands of people. And oh, hold on. Let me rewind a little bit. Before performing in Cape Verde, I had a magical moment where I was able to record a song with my father. I think I mentioned earlier that my father was a singer. My father used to like play around with singing and stuff like that. He was like a little corner bar singer. Very talented though. And we recorded this one song together. It was the only one. It was him and my daughter was on it as well. I'm going to do a quick snippet of this because I think we're running out of time, right? Well, all right. 10-minute Q&A. You guys can't ask a lot of questions.
Perder casa, perder carro, gastar todo dinheiro que me ganhar, já me gastar. Então, coisa, ainda bem que me ficar a ganhar amor da minha vida. Perder teu. When I think of all the things that I have lost in my life, at first it makes me laugh and then I cry.
Yeah, I lost it all, man. Money, friends, girls, not how it goes.
When I think of all the things that I have lost in my life,
Yeah.
at first it makes me laugh and then I cry.
You hear my daughter? She was 3, she's 18 now. Yeah, when I was young, they used to say I was a lost cause. Running wild in Pawtucket with them lost boys. I apologize for things that I did, but please understand, I was just a little kid. Te lembra quando pega na lume, perde pele. Minha pai enfrentado, desorientado, perder cabelo. Quando pensa na minha vida, família lá nasceu. Deus, sou boa que saber, perder teu. Every morning when I rise with the sun, I gotta thank God, he's my champion. That's the way it goes in the city that I'm from. You win some, you lose some, and I lost it all. Yeah. Damn. I lost it all. Whew. Yeah. Pops.
When I think of all the things that I have lost in my life, at first it makes me laugh and then I cry. When I think of all the
Yeah, see my pops, he's just like me. The apple never falls too far from the tree. You win some, you lose some, and we both agree. The worst things to lose in this life come free. Born loser, trying to be a winner, saw a loser. Had to eat my pride for dinner. Tears on the uniform, scars from the falls. Through all the losses, I ain't mad at all. I got love. Pops always called me the champ. Even when I lost the big game, he got me amped. He said you win some, you lose some, it's part of the game. If you give it all you got, then remember your name. See, my pop played Keno and frequent the casino. He knows that losing's of all evil. Losing ain't fun, it's the same for all people. What? It's the same for all people. But every morning when I rise with the sun, I gotta thank God he's my champion. That's the way it goes in the city that I'm from. You win some, you lose some, and I lost it all. Yeah, I lost it all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think of all the things that I have lost in my life. At first it makes me laugh and then I cry.
It's a lot, it's a millions of us. Pode parecer minha pouco. Não, Charlie, não, Charlie, nunca te perdeu. A sério, nunca te na brincadeira. Charlie, play pennies, Charlie, play cent games. A sério. Perdeceu.
Word. So, having that, man, you know, being able to collaborate with a man that I like would create reasons to fight with my whole life, and then us being able to share that moment by accepting that, you know, even though we created different styles of music, we were both music helped guide us and turn us into the men that we were becoming. You know, shortly after that, my father had a really short, unsuccessful fight against pancreatic cancer, and passed away. That was 10 years ago. And after that, I kind of like dedicated myself towards like trying to like, you know, really embrace the culture. I had my first trip to Cape Verde in 2011, a year after he passed. Unfortunately, I wish he was able to join me. But after that trip, over the past 10 years, it's been 17 trips. That song Sabine that I performed earlier won a Cape Verdean Music Award, which is the equivalent of our Grammys, back in 2013. Performed in some of the biggest festivals. That led to opportunities for me to travel around the globe a few times. And yeah, so that was the title, right? Reverse Migration was that. My family migrated here from a third world country to provide opportunities for me to connect with my homeland. And it was a unique experience. My rebellion ultimately led to the one aspect of my musical career that I hold the dearest, and that's me being able to connect more deeply with Cape Verde and with my culture. And it's something that I will continuously seek after. I will, you know, feed the culture to my children. I will not allow them to make the same mistakes that I did. And the music that I used to hate growing up, right? Remember this stuff that I played earlier? I have a new appreciation for this. And this is actually a song that was recorded by my father. And this is my dad's music. And having the opportunity to still hear his voice, you know, 10 years after he passed, means everything to me. And that boy's good.
campo que flui.